Okay,
There we go.
there we go. I didn't yeah, I didn't know if you guys send me a different link or not, so I went through the normal registration route.
Got it. Um, well, I think I want to let you share your screen. So
Oh, I didn't know what format. You want me to go through the presentation?
yeah, I
I,
figured that I can pull it up too, unless you got it ready to go.
oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know the format if we are gonna do interview or I only sent that presentation just so you get an overview of the topic we'll be discussing. But yeah. And how long is this call?
I've got it for 1 hour.
Okay.
Like some people. Um,
Do you guys normally do presentations, or you normally do interview style, or how you normally do it?
we mix it up, whatever the interviews, whatever you'd like. We're game for either.
Okay. Well, feel free to jump in if you want. I mean, it's I won't be able to do the entire presentation on a 1 minute. I'm on a 1 hour. I think it'll go. It'll be a lot.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's I created that presentation for a mastermind, so it was a longer format. But yeah, we can touch on it, and then feel free to jump in if you want me to expand on anything or anything like that. Yeah.
All right.
We'll keep it interactive.
All right. I just added you as a panelist.
Okay.
Go live in the Facebook group. Someone says we don't see Tim. Are you able to share your?
Oh. I don't know. I think you need to make me something.
Yeah, I just made you a panelist.
Okay. It didn't. It says Timai is talking. It didn't change on my end where I can share. I can go on video. I'm not sure why. It looks like I'm still an attendee.
I use timmai2@gmail.com.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I just
Oh, you know what? It's probably because I'm logged into a different Zoom. Do you see a support@dudeals.com? Oh yeah.
I'll add it right now. What is it?
Support@dudeals.com, DODEALS.com. I mean, I did use that other one, but I don't know. I have two computers going, so I'm not sure how it's being registered.
Nice. I just added you there.
I wonder. I still don't see any changes. You want me to leave and come back and see?
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay.
Check your email. I'm gonna share this to.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. It's all
Always
right.
fun.
People are just kind of joining in here. I'm gonna go live in the Facebook group as well.
Now we see you, but we don't hear you.
Okay. Yay, I have video and
There
audio. Awesome. Okay. Alrighty then. Let me see here. So I'll load up the thing on. I can load up the presentation on my end here.
Awesome.
Hey, Brian, Justin's saying he needs an invite too.
All right.
And then, yeah, I guess just let me know when you want to start or when you want me to share my screen, and then do that. All right, we are live in Facebook. I'm getting my 15 seconds of Facebook fame.
There
Hey,
you go.
Facebook.
We're returning the favor. You gave me mine, what, 2 days ago?
Yeah, you guys have had a busy couple days here. Seems like.
Yeah. Oh no, this is not good. All right, looks like I'm not gonna mess with this. I am going to need you to share the presentation for me. I just upgraded my MacBook and it looks like my sharing is not working correctly.
Okay.
And Recording.
Get that pulled up then.
Okay, no, okay, looks like I might got it. All right.
You got it?
Yeah, there we go. All right. You guys can see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll stop sharing for now until we're ready. Yeah, okay.
I think we're good to go. Want to kick us off, Brian?
Yeah. It looks like everybody's here on Facebook and Zoom. So appreciate you guys joining us for our monthly webinar. We got an awesome guest speaker tonight, Tim Mai, good friend of George and our Elevate team, and as you guys know, super active on the marketing front and helping other people, raise capital and collaborating. So really excited to hear some insights from Tim on what's working right now, what he's seen working from others in the capital raising space. So we're excited to have you here, Tim.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks, George, as well for having me here. I'm super pumped. This is to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to put them. If you guys are on Facebook, you can put the questions in the chat.
Yeah.
We'll jump in and try to get them addressed.
Yeah, and just to kind of give you the lay of the land here. So the presentation I'm going to share, because of the limit that we have on here, it was created because I've been working on writing a book on capital raising based on over 50 interviews of the top real estate syndicators, fund managers, including George here on my capital raising show. I've interviewed, from the OGs such as Dave Lindahl to Rod Cleve, Brad Sumrock, Zach Haptonstall, Joe Fellis, a bunch, a lot of people, and yeah, so from there, I wanted to it's my very first book, and I wanted to have a book that is takes all the best working stuff from everyone and bring it into down into one book. And as I was creating the presentation, and just so kind of inside tip on how I'm writing the book is I'm actually go through the presentation, I record it, and then my book editor turns that into the actual book. But as I was going through it, I was like, wow, this book can really turn into a marketing checklist of what are all the major things that you need to do of marketing in your business, especially when it comes to capital raising. You don't have to implement all of them at once. As you can see when I share with you today, it's a lot. It's very big, it's very comprehensive, but you just pick one at a time and implement it. So yeah. So this is just I'm gonna have to go really fast today, okay? Because it's a lot of content, and I do want to leave some room for Q&A toward the end as well. All right. Let me know when you're ready for me
Yeah,
to
I think
start.
with that said, you can probably just jump right into it.
Okay. All right. Cool. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Yeah. Let's see here. Let me just put it. Yeah. So, as I mentioned, this is the proven marketing strategies from the top syndicators that I have interviewed. I've interviewed a lot of people that have raised well over $100 million. And so this is the compilation of everybody's strategy. Really quick, I'm married to my beautiful high school sweetheart, and we have two boys. Tyler is now 19 and Austin is now 16. They're both driving. This is how I look in high school, and that's how I got her. See how she must have felt sorry for me or something. It's like, hey, this naughty kid. But this is our prom picture from way back when. She did clean me up a little bit. All right. So, real quick, I've been in real estate now for 21 years. However, most of that has been in the single family and the land space. I've gotten into this multifamily syndication at the end of April of 2022. So just a little bit over a year. And since then, I've been working my butt off and done a lot of things in this space, including I started a Facebook group that now has over 3,300 members in it. I did I kicked off a weekly virtual meetup. We have had like over 2,000 people that have registered for that and attended one of the weeklies, and that's why I've done all my interviews and how we what this presentation is based on. I also hosted a capital raising summit. We had over 160 people that attended that back in December. We do another one coming up here in September, which we'll share with you guys about toward the end. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me. And I'm both an LP. I'm pretty actively as an LP, meaning looking for opportunities, as well as a GP and co-GP. All right. So in writing the book, I learned about this framework that's really cool. So anytime you're creating content, this is just a really great way to create your content structure. But it's a 3x3x3. And then because I'm writing a book, I need even more content. There's each of the last three has 10 items underneath there. So the presentation follows this format to help you follow along, I guess. So basically, when it comes to capital raising, I identified that there are three phases that a capital raiser syndicator must go through to raise a lot of money. Okay, and phase one is about getting known. Phase two is about getting leads. That's where you actually capture, you convert, all of the people that know you. You convert all of your branding, all of your marketing into an actual list building, list generation machine. And then phase three is about how then you convert those leads into actual invested capital. Okay, and so each of these phases has 3 steps, and so a total of 9 steps. So I'm moving, so throughout this presentation, I'm going to refer to the steps. So step 1 is about getting known, and a part of step 1 of getting known, actually. So this I'm sorry. All right. So in getting known, there's 3 steps. Phase 1, getting known, there's 3 steps. There's be targeted, be an authority, and be omnipresent. So one of the interviews that I did with was with Annie Dickerson, and she shared how specific she was in her avatar when GoodX first started. They knew her and Julie Lamb. They knew exactly who they want to target, which is working moms, and so they because they knew their target so well, they were able to find these moms in Facebook groups and in like different groups that all the moms hangs out in. As a result of being targeted and knowing how to target her investor type, within 5 years they they raised over $120 million. They came in as a co-GP on a lot of deals, and so they were involved in over $1.3 billion of deals. And at the time of the interview, they were at 800 million asset under management. And so yeah, so part one, knowing who who you're gonna target, whether you're gonna target doctors or you're gonna target business owners. The easiest thing a lot of people do is they target the people that are like them, right? So I've been a business owner for most of my life, and so it's easy for me to target business owners. However, however, I know that in interviewing a bunch of people, doctors and medical professionals are a great source of investor leads for us. And so what I did was I took on a partner who is in the medical field to come on and so help me target that. So so as a partnership, I can go and target all the entrepreneurs and business owners. She can target all the doctors and nurses and that type. So that's one way to do it. And so knowing your target, I'm going a little bit fast.
People are asking questions. You want to answer them as we go through, or save them to the end, or what kind of style would you go?
Probably we should wait to the end, because if not,
sounds good. I'll try to
okay. Because if not, we won't be able to have enough time to go through everything. But so once you know who your avatar is, you know what they want, what's important to them as a business owner, especially one that just have an exit. Tax strategy is extremely important to them, right? So I can speak into that. Someone who has a W-2 job, having passive income might be important to them. Right. And so like knowing, what is them, or someone who has, let's say they have over $10 million, they're not trying to get the highest returns. They're looking for conservative returns that can preserve the capital, right? So knowing your avatar and knowing what they want, you can speak into that. And then, knowing where they hang out, like I said about Annie, she knew exactly what groups moms are hanging out in. She can go in there and, she can talk about, financial planning and talking about, how to save for your kids' college and things like that, right? That would interest the moms. And, so I mentioned about being at a single family space for over 21 years now. So one of the things that I did very early on, because I used to do a lot of fix and flips, and I would host events at my office specifically for passive invest, which in that case it's called private lenders, right? So I had Quest IRA to host their event at my office. This is before when they had the big office. Quincy Long used to have just a little bitty office, and so my office was a lot bigger. So I had Quincy host his monthly meetings at my office, and from there, I never needed private money. So I had tons. So either where you're gonna go, where your passive investors are to go to those events, or you host your own events and attract them to you as well. Okay. Now here's a great example of a company that is super target. They are I think they're 20-something billion. Oh no, not 20-something, $211 billion asset under management. Okay. And if you check out their marketing, they're super clear on who they're targeting. They start all of their marketing out with, if you have a $500,000 portfolio, boom, that's one targeting, right? And then if you read the rest of it, they always talk about retirement income. So they're looking for older people, right? Looking to retire, retiring soon, or already retired, that have at least $500,000 or more. And then they would, their different marketing will provide different guides, different reports, different education to that target. So Fisher Investments is a really great company for you to learn their marketing. They're a marketing machine. Obviously, they didn't get to 200 something billion asset under management without having that, right? And so this is the power of targeting right here. So like for me right now, I'm getting ready to run a test because I love entrepreneurs and I love the ones that recently had an exit of some kind. And so, or even they make a lot of money. So I'm targeting if you paid or expecting to pay $100,000 or more in taxes, blah, 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 right? Here's my free report on how to eliminate that and turn that into a wealth building tool. So I'm targeting people who have a big tax liability. And so, knowing who your target is, so that way you can speak the language that would resonate with them is super important. Step 2 is be the authority. This one, I love the way that Richard Wilson, who one of the people I interview, what he has done in the family office space is phenomenal. He dominates that family office space, and the way that he positioned himself as an authority. He hosts a lot of events, and he also brand himself very well. So he brand himself as Family Office Club, right? It's like it's the club, it's the place for family offices to go. So he attracts a ton of big check writers. His average client net worth is $28 million. That's a lot of money, right? That's really good. And he even started a second brand not too long ago called billionaires.com, where he's interviewing billionaires. So now he's attracting that even higher level of clientele over to him. Now, how do we do that in a small scale, right? Richard obviously did that in a very big scale, but one of the easiest way to be the authority is just be a community leader. A community leader can mean as like a Facebook community is a community leader. A podcast host is a community leader. Okay. So anything that you can do that you are the leader of, and you're leading a group of people, you're a community leader, and that automatically makes you an authority. Be an educator. So doing this webinar right now, right? So whether it's because I'm up here doing this webinar, I'm pretty sure you think I'm an authority because I'm teaching this to you, and we've all been brainwashed for at least 12 years of our lives to see our teachers as an authority. And so being an educator is a really, really great way. Being a book author, which is why I'm writing a book, all play to that. Even being like a YouTube influencer, an Instagram influencer, those are all tools that you can use to be an authority. So just put out a lot of content and boom, you are an authority. Okay. There's a lot of ways here. I'm not gonna go into all of them. Another one is being a celebrity. So I came to this industry as a nobody. Hardly anybody knew me. And when I did my very first events, Capital Raising Summit back in December, at the beginning of the event, I asked everybody, how many of you guys knew of me prior to May 2022, which is when I started my community? And how many people did not know of me prior to May 2022? And more than 90% of the room raised their hand that they did not know of me. And they only know of me now because of all the things I've done, right? And so one of the things that I did to be a celebrity, after I decided that I want to focus in on the topic of capital raising, and one reason is because I want to learn capital raising and I want to learn from the best of the best, but also because I realized that I'm a connector. I'm very well connected, and so playing the role of a capital raiser, fund of funds, makes the most amount of sense for me. I wouldn't be a great deal finder and operator and asset management. I wouldn't be great at that. And so I did not choose to go that path. So in after I choose to be known as a capital raiser, and I'm using fund of funds specifically here, and sometimes I do go on a co-GP and play an active role, but I prefer the funds of funds model. because I don't need to play an active role in that specific deal. So in doing that, if you notice, like everything I do has my brand, my hero brand on it. And then I interview, I specifically choose the best of the best in the industry to interview. Why? It's because I want to borrow their authority and their celebrity, their branding. When I'm interviewing someone, people associate me with that person's name, and so that's how I build my celebrities. So you can do the same thing. So if you're gonna start your own podcast show, your webinar show, find the people that in the industry that people look up to and interview them. And so you get to borrow all of that credibility from them, and makes you a celebrity just like the one that you're interviewing. Okay. And there's a lot of other ways, but I mean, it's just good pictures, good professional pictures plays a huge role in how you look to people and how you look as a celebrity. All right. Yeah, so here's some of my brandings. And third being omnipresence. Yeah, I interviewed Joe Fellas and learned a ton from him on this one. But being omnipresence is about being everywhere all at once. And I mean, him and his team does a really great job with that. And same thing with Elevate too. You guys are amazing at this point. I see you guys everywhere. Yeah, so Joe and Ashcroft Capital, they, at the time when I interviewed them, they've been in business for 10 years. They went from 0 to $2.7 billion asset under management, raised over $600 million. They have the longest running daily real estate podcast. Joe's book author, like of 2 books. They host the Best Ever Conference, which is an annual event. And then as big as they are with all the things that they do with podcasts and the live events, on a monthly basis, they have their investor relations people all across the country hosting smaller events, both hosting meetups as well as hosting investor dinners. And so, yeah, talking about being everywhere, there literally is being everywhere. And in the beginning, Joe was the guy that did everything, but now he doesn't have to do that anymore, right? His investor relations people do that. So even with his podcast, he's not the one that's interviewing people anymore. So yeah, so you might have to start out doing everything, but eventually you get to graduate and have your team members do it. So part one of being omnipresence, is starting your own podcast. That's one of the easiest things that you do. So here's a secret, okay? Your podcast doesn't have to be a daily podcast. It doesn't even have to be a weekly podcast. Just the fact that you have a podcast, like it gives you the branding. But yes, the more often you can do your podcast, the better. For me, I not only did I created my own podcast, but I'm actually in the process right now. I recently acquired a podcast that's a #1 podcast in the world, like top 1%, not #1, but top 1% podcast in the world, which is over 3 million podcasts. So I had the opportunity to acquire that. So now I'm going through that transition now. But yeah, so you can start out and growing your own podcast. And if there's an opportunity that you can acquire one that's already doing well, like that would exponential accelerate your growth, right? All right. Second one is leveraging other people's podcasts. I love this one. And podcasts, from all the interviews I've done, podcast is ranked really high up there as a source of capital for a lot of people I've interviewed. Why? As a podcast host, we do so much work to build that community and build our brand. And so you, as the guest coming on to our show, you're able to leverage all of the hard work that we do to build up our podcast. And so that credibility transfer over to you really fast. That know, like, and trust transfer over to super fast. Oh gosh, I forgot his name. I interviewed recently. Oh, his name escaped me for now. But just to show you how well podcasts can work. So he was on a podcast, and one of the investors heard him, and he had mentioned that he has deals. He wasn't promoting any specific deal, but he did give out his website. The investor heard him on the podcast, went on his website, joined his portal, invested in the deals, wired $150,000 without any phone calls at all. So all because of the leveraging of the podcast. That's the power of it. So, I recommend, and I'm like, this week, this is my third podcast I'm on this week, right? It's, this is a webinar, but podcast-ish, right? And yeah, definitely recommend that you get yourself booked at least once a month. If you can do once a week, even better. Once a day, even better. I was talking to another gentleman. He has raised a lot of money. He's only been in business for a few years, but raised a ton of money. His goal is to get on at least one podcast per day. And then there's also his wife too. So they like 2 podcasts a day is what they're averaging right now. And so, podcast is an amazing tool. Social media channels, right? Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, yeah, like you want to be seen everywhere. And yeah, I mean, it's cheap, it's free. It just requires some work. A lot of the social media stuff that I do probably 10% of it. My virtual assistant does a lot of it. And we repurpose a lot of our content. We repurpose a lot of what we do and put it into different social media. Right. So I'm sure you are familiar with that by now. All right, phase 2 about getting leads. So now that you are known, because you did all of this marketing, you did all this branding, all this positioning, all the social media, now it's time to convert all of that into actual leads, okay? Into actual leads in your CRM. So the first type of leads that you want to have is the leads that are on your, on your phone contact. I just dropped my phone. On your phone contact. As adults, I guarantee you, there's at least $10 million sitting on your phone that is just dormant, right? They those people have money in savings account, in CDs, maybe even in IRAs that are just not earning anything or earning very little. Okay, so those are the first people that you want to convert to your leads. And so you don't want to put, you can, but for most of us, we have a lot of people that might not be as ideal. So what I recommend is you do, and I learned this strategy from Russell Brunson. He's a big time marketer, run a company called ClickFunnels, but build your Dream 100 list. So from all of your contacts, you want to go through and identify, oh man, I forgot, to mention, before I continue my thought about the Dream 100. So one of the person that that really demonstrate this specific strategy was Zach Haptonstall when he first started Rice 48 Equity. They've only been in business for 4 years now. They've already acquired almost $2 billion worth of real estate. They currently have over $1 billion asset under management. When I interviewed them, they already raised over 500 million. They probably raised a lot more since then, because I interviewed them about a year ago. So I'm sure they've grown a lot. So regarding go back to your Dream 100, all right? So you want to, the 3 types of people that you want to make sure you extract out of your contact. First are your investors who are already doing investing that you know of, whether it's real estate investing, stock investing, angel investing, any type of investing. You want to identify them first, because if they know, if they already investing, for you to convert them into investing with you is much easier. You don't have to educate them on investing. So those are the first type of people in your contact that you want. The second type of people that you want are your high income earners. Who makes a lot of money on your phone, right? Your doctors, lawyers, dentists. You might even want to go back to check your high school friends to see what they're doing now, because you'd be surprised how many of them are now medical professionals or successful business owners, and so you want to capture all of the high income earners. And if you're not sure, you can go check their Facebook to see what their lifestyle look like. That might give you some hints. But yeah, your high income earners, you want to definitely make note of all those people. And then third is all your influential contacts. These are people who are well connected. Even if they're not a high income earner, or sometimes they could be retired, so they're not even making much money, but they're very well connected. They talk to a lot of people. And so, these people, even if they don't invest with you, they are a great source of referrals for you. So you want to identify these as well and build your Dream 100 based on those. All right. Step 2 of get leads is mining social media. And this one, I learned a ton from Neil Barwa with this. He's a master when it comes to mining LinkedIn. They Growth Capitus, that over $1 billion asset under management right now, raised over $270 million. They're in a pretty diverse portfolio. So mining social media is about converting all of your social media friends and connections. So if it's Facebook, right, it's friends. If it's LinkedIn, it's connections. LinkedIn has ranked the #1 platform for raising money across all the people that I interview, and then Facebook ranks #2 in terms of social media platforms, because other platforms like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube's also another great one, but that's a higher barrier to entry. But yeah, you want to convert all of these funds into investors, and how you do that is by first, you definitely want to optimize your profile, making sure everyone knows what you do. Okay, if you go to my Facebook, you go to my LinkedIn, you look at even my profile picture says, "Let's build wealth together. Let's build real estate wealth together." Like, there's no doubt that if you look at any of my profiles, that you would have to wonder, what is it that I do? You don't. Like, it's very clear. And so make sure you optimize your profile, your bio. Make sure, like, it's very clear for people, what is it that you do? Okay. And making sure that they know how to reach out to you, how to connect with you, whether you're going to send them to your link tree or your contact info. Okay. Always have make it easy for people. Okay. The second part of mining social media is, now you want to post content that would get people to engage and get people to be willing to go to your website and give you their name, their email, their phone number, maybe even ask, like in my case, I do ask them, are you an accredited investor? And so yeah, you want to create lead magnets, and lead magnets can be, it doesn't, ebook is a very common lead magnet that a lot of people do, but it doesn't have to be. Even doing a webinar like this, a lot of people do podcasts. They just record one-on-one, like off air, which is great, but it's not as good as like this, what we're doing right now as a webinar, where people have to register. Right, on Zoom now, you capture their name, email, phone number. I don't remember if you guys capture phone numbers or not when people register on here, Brian. But yeah, like webinar, like you can do the interviews. If you have your podcast, you do the interview on a webinar like this, and you can invite people to come and join you here live. And then you can take the interview part of it or the content part of this presentation and put that into your podcast, the audio, put in your podcast, the video, put in your YouTube. You can repurpose this type of events, right? This type of webinar in a lot of different ways. And so I love doing it in this format because it forces people to go register, and you promote all of this on your social media, the people that you're interviewing, promoting on their social media. And so you're able to capture all of those leads. Okay. I also do a lot of posts that, get people to raise their hands. And let's say I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm gonna go post right now and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing a training on how you can double your money with multifamily every 5 to 7 years. Who would be interested? Right. So you make a post like that. So all of your people that read that, they're like, oh, doubling my money, right? Sounds good. They say yes. Every time someone put in the comment yes, what it does, number one, it allows you to identify who they are so you can follow up with them. And number two, the platform algorithm loves that. They're like, oh, this is a post that people are engaging with. Let me go and show this to more people, right? Your normal post, probably Facebook or LinkedIn are showing it to, less than 5% of your friends or your connections. Okay. But with engagement like that, they'll show it to more and more people. I have had posts that went even over 1,000 comments, because I specifically asked them for those comments, right? Asked for those engagement. And then mining leads on LinkedIn. What's powerful about LinkedIn is you can search like the profession and the jobs title and all of that super easy. And there are software tools out there that allows you to, like, let's say if I want to go on LinkedIn right now and I want to search for all the doctors that are in real estate groups. Okay. So I would join a bunch of real estate groups so that way it shows me like what real estate groups I'm in. But if I can find doctors that are in, let's say, a multifamily real estate group, that's a really good targeted person for me to connect with. Okay. And so and I use Sales Navigator. It allows you to do multiple layers of searches like that. The normal free account doesn't allow you to do that. And I think Sales Navigator is like $99 a month or something around that. Neil uses getprospects.com, a great tool. I use growmeorganic.com for a couple of reasons, but one of the reasons is that not only do they get you the person's email address, they also get you that person's phone number. Right now, I don't have any plans to call them, but I like to have them just in case if I ever want to start such a campaign. But yeah, so you can get people's email. Grow Me Organic would actually let you email them as a cold email from their platform. I don't do it that way. So you take those emails, we upload them to Eventbrite, and then send and set up an event. So I do my weekly interviews every week, so I promote it to my weekly my weekly virtual summit. And so now people see that I have an event, and they can reserve get a ticket to go to my event. And so by using Eventbrite, what that does is it allows you to not have to worry about spams and stuff like that, because people are very used to get invited to events on Eventbrite. And Eventbrite is owned by Google, and so they have a really strong power to send out, and it also allows you to clean up all of these lists that you get. So like let's say let's say out of 100 emails that you get, maybe only half of them are actual valid, right? And so using Eventbrite allows you to know who opened the email, who clicked, and things like that. It gives you those reports, like who emails get bounced, so you don't have to email them again. And then here's the really powerful tool. Even if you know, if you feel like, if you don't like that strategy of, you know, emailing them cold, here's the other strategy that's super powerful. So when you try to add someone's contact, LinkedIn limits you to, I think, about 30 a day, something like that. Definitely no more than 50 a day that you can add new contacts. Okay, but if you have their email and you upload it into your Google contacts, and then you link from your Google contacts over to LinkedIn, LinkedIn allows you to have up to 3,000 connections a month. Isn't that amazing? Right? So now, you know, all these doctors that you just pull, all these business owners that you just pull, you know, LinkedIn is doing its job to connect you with those people. So that's a really powerful strategy that you can use. All right, I went a lot on the LinkedIn because that's one of my favorite podcasts. LinkedIn, like I told you, 2 top strategies to get investors, and so that's why I went over a lot of that. Hosting lead gen events. So you know, the person who exemplified this started out in 2018. You know, Dan Hanford and his team have acquired over $1.3 billion and raised over $600 million. And if you follow Dan, I followed Dan even before I got into this industry. And you know, and he does a ton of virtual summits back then. Now he's starting to do started last year, started to do in-person summits as well. But I mean, they've gotten tens of thousands of people that have gone through their virtual summits. So I tried one. I did one a few months ago. Back, we are now in July, so 3 months ago, and I hosted a virtual summit for passive investors. It was a 3-day summit. In my case, I did them live, which is a lot of work. If I was to do them again, I wouldn't do them live. I'd do them meaning I would pre-record all the sessions with the speakers. But check this out. Guess how many people we had registered for that virtual summit? Over 1,200 people. So one event built me an investor list of over 1,200 people. And you know, I could have gotten even more if I did my messaging to attract both passive investors and active investors who are interested in multifamily. But in my case, I was like, I just want to try one with just passive investor. So all the languaging, you know, all the messaging talked specifically about passive investing. And then I didn't focus on just multifamily. I have experts on all different asset classes, you know, industrial warehouses and mobile home parks, and even parking lots. So all the different assets, and we talked a lot about, you know, passive investing in those assets. We talk about tax strategies. We talk about, you know, legal stuff on there. And yeah, so hosting lead gen events is an amazing, you know, amazing way to do that. Virtual meetups, which is something that I do every week, right? So that's one of my favorite ways to do it. Much easier than in-person meetups, and you can do it more frequently, and you can get a lot more people register, right? Because there's not a lot of resistance, right? A lot of barrier when it comes to a virtual meetup. So my virtual meetup that I do every week, and I interview, like I said, we started that at the end of June 2022. So we are 13 months in, about 13 months in, and we have had over 2,000 people that have registered for that. And and when they register, I ask all kinds of questions. Are you accredited? You know, are you looking for investment opportunities now? You know, all of these things. If I ask less questions, I would definitely get a lot more people to register. I don't know why I decided to ask so many questions. But I think at that time I just wanted quality. I was like, I don't care about quantity. I just want quality. And so yeah, I love virtual meetups. I highly recommend it. And you can repurpose. Yeah, if you're gonna do a podcast, you might as well do a virtual meetup like what we're doing right now. Because you can repurpose that content a lot of different ways. But local meetup is really great, is because when you meet with someone in person, it just there's some magic that happens there. And converting someone you've met for the very first time in person into an investor is much more likely than converting someone that you met virtually for the first time into investor. Okay. And so so people still do a lot of local meetups. Here's one that I love that I don't see anybody do, or hardly anyone. Mini meetups. What are these? So whenever I attend an event, and I think George, you might do this too, but when I attend events, I host my own meetup within that event. And let me pick up my phone because I wanted to show you. So I'll give you an example. An event that I attended a couple months ago in Miami. That event was specifically for fund managers. And they had about probably close to 2,000 attendees there, right? So when you go to a big event like that, it's very easy for you to get lost. And so what I did was I created a WhatsApp group. I don't know if you can see it. It has 410 people that joined my WhatsApp group from that event. And they joined there because I tell them, it's like, hey, join my WhatsApp group. I'm hosting meetups throughout the event. And I also encourage other people who join the group to also host theirs and then refer to other people. So word of mouth, one person shared to the next person, so hosting those mini meetups is a really great way when you go to events. And I do that with so I was at a Rod Cleef event. I was at a Dan Hanford's event. I was at BEC. Let me see how many. You were at BEC, right, George? Best ever conference back in Salt Lake? I can't hear you. Oh. Did I? I hope
No, I
not.
didn't hear him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he was not this past year, but the year before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
at best ever conference, as you can see, I got 75 participants that joined my. So not all of them I can get hundreds, right? But still, 75 contact at best ever conference is really good. Very good leads, right? So all right, I'm gonna have to go super fast. I only have 7 minutes left. All right. We talked about virtual summits already, so I'm not gonna go through too much about that. I'm gonna skip investor luncheons and dinners. One of the gentlemen I interview, he hosts luncheons at his office twice a week. And so he doesn't even have to go anywhere. So his investors already know I think it was Tuesday and Wednesday, I think. I don't remember the exact days of the week that he does it, but he's constantly inviting people. So in his case, because he does it twice a week, it's a smaller group, and he loves that because he can have more intimate conversation with them. And he raised a ton of money through just that, just inviting people to his office to have free lunch. So yeah, and investor dinners is also another great one. I was at an investor dinner last week. There were about 40 people in the room. It was at a steakhouse, and the really cool thing about it was the deal sponsor that hosted it. They own the building that the steakhouse is renting at. Like, hey, this is impressive, right? And so yeah, investor dinners still works extremely well. All right, phase 3, yay, we're almost there. Get capital. So 3 major ways that I see that the top syndicators convert all of those leads into capital. Number 1 is booking a call. That's the most popular way to do it. So everything in your funnel has to drive people to book a call. Okay. Every lead magnet needs to drive people to book a call. They land on your website, needs to drive them to book a call. So once you capture the lead, like the next step is always booking a call. And just be willing to get on the phone with people. And if you're not willing, find someone that you can partner up with that can get on the phone. Or if you're like me, I know my skill set is in marketing. And I love it. I love marketing. I love doing all this marketing stuff. And so I brought on my friend who's she's a PhD in physical therapy. So not only can she talk to doctors and stuff, but she's also my investor relations person. And so she's the one that gets on the call with people. Okay. So you can partner up with people like that. If you're just starting out, chances are probably you might not be able to afford to hire someone, but if you can, that's another great way. But yeah, and then your CIM, you want to make sure that your CIM nurtures them at a minimum, at an absolute minimum. You want to have a 7-day sequence to teach them something for 7 days, and then to book them a call. However, if you can have your automation go for at least 18 months, and here's why 18 months. So this is stats of sales in general. 15% of your buyers will buy from you within the first 90 days of engaging with you. However, 85%, the other 85%, they buy from you within 12 to 18 months. So if your follow-up sequence ends in 30 days or 90 days, you're missing out on 85% of the people that can invest with you. So as you create content like this, you don't have to day one build out 18 months of follow-up sequence. You can build out the first 7 days, and then the first month, and then slowly build it out to 18 months or even beyond. Yeah, but yeah, you want to as soon as you can build it out to last that long. You're going to be in this business for the long haul already. And so yeah, so make so build that out. And then another way to get capital is hosting conversion events. What are conversion events? We talked about marketing funnels, call to action. I'm just gonna skip some of these conversion events. Webinars that are specific to an event. To pitch a specific deal, right? You pitch webinars. Webinars has been really popular and effective tool. It used to be that everybody just get on calls, but yeah, but I think this industry took the whole webinar idea from the online marketing industry, and using webinar as an effective tool to raise money. So yeah, webinars to get them to invest directly is one. Neil Barwad uses a course that he does, and he puts on you. In his case, he put on Udemy. He has like over 10,000 students on there. But the people who paid for your course, okay, to learn from you, they're super targeted and super hard to convert them into as an investor, right? Because if they're willing to invest, even if it's $1 with you, by buying a course from you, they're they're very targeted. But if they just consume enough content, this is why courses, I'm talking about courses here beyond the webinars, is because courses builds a deeper relationship, because they're going on a journey with you and not just a one-time event. And yeah, so even for my team, we were doing weekly webinars. This is for a different, this is for my fund. We were doing a weekly webinars, but now we're actually gonna create a 6-week course. that we're going to take people through every 2 months. So that way it's topical, like it's, it's event driven, right? And I know the people that gets on our webinars, get on our course, those have a much higher chance of us converting into actual capital. Here's another one that I didn't realize until I got into industry, but as a, if once you know enough knowledge and you can teach, or even if you have like you facilitate a mastermind, your students and your mastermind members, those are all great source of money for you as well. Okay, because they know you so intimately by the time they join your course and your mastermind. Yeah, anytime that you're looking at a deal, even if you haven't raised money on it yet, doing underwriting webinars just to educate people, you want to capture those, everyone who attends is super important. Those are the people that you want to get on the phone with as soon as possible. Okay. Pitch webinars, we talked about that. Owen Claff has a framework. Owen Claff, there's this book called Pitch Anything. Amazing book. Quite a number of people I interview, like praise about Pitch Anything because of the framework. Owen Claff teaches a 16-slide pitch deck, which is super difficult to get down to 16 slides, but yeah, it follows a very specific framework. All right, next one, and joining an alliance, right? And there's so many things I did not know before coming to this industry, but now I know. It's amazing how many people go on each other's deals as co-GPs, fund of funds, to participate and raise money as part of it. Disrupt Equity did a phenomenal job with onboarding Brandon Turner onto their alliance. There's a deal that they're raising right now. It's called Texas 3-Pack. I can't give you the specific numbers, but I can tell you this, right? It's a $57 million raise. Just the raise is $57 million, and Open Door Capital raised more than half of that. And so that's the power of having a strong alliance. And now you might not be able to hit a well like that, right, coming out the bat, but you might have 3-5 friends that each can bring on $1 million. That can help tremendously in your raise, right? So building your alliance, building your allies, or find groups that are already doing that and joining the alliance is also super important. And that ends. Oh, and then we'll talk about co-GPs, fund of funds, right? Keep in mind, co-GPs, to make it legal, they have to have an active role in it. Fund of funds, they don't. They're active in their fund, but their fund coming in as an LP in your deal, so you don't have to do that. And if you raise a lot of money and you need to hire broker dealers, that's another option as well. And so with that, I'm not going to go into that, but can I mention about the event I'm doing?
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I have an event coming up in September 14 to 16, capitalraisingsummit.com. George spoke at the event last year, and we have amazing. So one of our keynote speaker that I just got booked yesterday, Paul Hutchison. He is the co-founder of Bridge Investment Group Partners. He is now retired from the fund, but the fund is currently at $48 billion asset under management, started with zero. And so, yeah, Paul is our keynote speaker for the event. We have a lot of amazing speakers that are coming. And so, yeah, capitalraisingsummit.com. And we have an ambassador group. So meaning that we have a referral program. When you refer 3 people, your ticket is free. So you sign up, we give you a referral code, and you refer your friends. When 3 of them signs up, we get you your ticket for free. So, all right.
Awesome. Well, that was great. That was a ton of packed information here in this hour, and definitely appreciate it. A lot of insights there, like you said. I think we were answering questions as they come through, but we ran just, that was pretty impressive. We only ran 5 minutes over, so
Yeah.
nicely done. Would you guys, there's some questions that came through that we kind of addressed.
Okay.
If you guys have any, we can take a couple questions here. One person asked, how do you, awesome jam pack. So one person asked, like, how do you target? How do you, I guess that means, how do you target your avatar or specific
Yeah.
investors?
Yeah. So if you're not sure, the easiest is to start with, like, what's the profession that you are in? Target people within your profession, your line of work could be one. Or people relating to that, right? That's the easiest. But going after doctors, dentists, busy working, high income earners, professionals is a very common targeting. But it could be like Annie, where she just targeted, working moms because she was a working mom herself. So yeah, things, things that you do, and there's other people like you. Those are the easiest target to go after.
Yeah, I think I hear it from other capital raisers common, they want to target, but they don't want to get too specific where they, pigeonhole themselves. But you brought up a great, person, Annie. She got super specific with moms, and here she was able to raise. So I think it's okay to really dial in, and I don't think you'll be limiting yourself. I think that's a
Yeah.
compliment.
Yeah, because the cool thing about dialing in is, I mean, you know where they hang out, you know who they are, you can speak to them so much. Now, Annie has since expanded beyond the working moms for sure, but when you first starting out, it's easier to target because you can fine tune your message so much easier.
I think that's great. And getting the word out, I think is super important. People always ask where to start, and I think just turning the camera around or going to
Yep.
events, getting out there and actually talking about, letting people know that you're getting involved and investing in real estate. Just really be more vocal about it in person and online. I love that on podcasts. Getting on other people's podcasts can be just as good. Jumping on other people's platforms like we're doing here.
Right, exactly.
Well, that was great. Well, we're a little bit over. We'll put this recording up on YouTube, and I guess if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get more?
Yeah. So if you want to learn more about capital raising, capitalraisingnation.com is my Facebook group. Capitalraisingparty.com is my weekly virtual meetup. And then if you want just like my link tree is, go to timmai.com.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate the value you brought tonight.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me. It was awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
See you
All right,
guys.
guys. Thank you so much. All right, see you everyone. Thank you.